Then the next thing what you can also do is you can create a recurring service call. And in case of a project, it might be useful. If you have a big project, a big task, you can just simply go into edit mode, go here to recurring service call, and make it recurring. Basically, the same logic as as Outlook. So you can say repeat it every week, for example, on the Monday and Tuesday. Um, this one is useful because I mean, this is a general functionality, so it doesn't really apply for projects, I think. Um, but I will still talk about it anyway. For example, if you have a really big project or a lot of work and you want to see only those items 6 months before the start date, so when it actually is planned, then you can use this. Because we need this if you put it on never, because else we need to create it indefinitely, and that is not possible. So we need to gradually create them. But you can also just tell to end this recurrence on a specific day or after X amount of weeks in this case. So yeah, that is also a nice feature in some cases that you can use to quickly create service calls. And you can also do this, for example, for only half a day of work, while the splitting of service call most likely results into full days of work. Okay, that's about planning. Of course, things will happen during a project where not everything goes according to plan and you need to act on it. Of course, you also need to communicate and maybe do reporting. Um, how you communicate and do reporting, I'm not going to talk about because that doesn't really relate to Proxuma other than all of these metrics we have. But we are working on a Power BI module that will be released this year that will give you all the information you need in order for your project reports. So yeah, please look out for it and maybe it will be useful. But let's focus on the things of Proxuma. So yeah, let's say this task needs more time. Again, simply extend it and then you can plan it on specific persons. If you need to rearrange some service calls, that is something of course you can do with dragging and dropping. Right? You can just simply put it on a different day or on a different resource. Let's say you have somebody who's sick. That can happen, right? So let's say myself, I'm sick, so I need to update all of this and assign it to a different person. So you can use bulk edit. So what I did was I shift clicked to select these tasks, but you could have done the same thing by going into bulk edit mode, select tasks, and then press next. Um, or use a combination, doesn't really matter as long as you just select which type, because you can only select the same type of items when you bulk edit. Then this screen, it shows you which things were selected, but you could select more items. For example, maybe they were not on your screen, and if you were in a week view and they're on in the next week, for example, you can just search on things like project, filter on it, and see all relevant items, and then just select the ones that you need. For example, where I am the resource. And yes, you can use multiple filters and then just simply select all the ones that you would like to bulk edit. Or you can just simply select all or deselect, right? That's some standard stuff. You can also select more columns if you would like to and apply the same logic there. And then you can edit and you can choose to add a different primary resource or secondary resource, for example. Or you can change other relevant information, or you can move items by date. So that is most likely used when you have a delay. Let's say your entire project is delayed. Of course, you can do it on project level. You don't need to do it on task level. But if you have parts of a project delayed, you can select the right tasks you can tell to, for example, delay things by 2 weeks. And when you do this, you will get a question if you would like to also update the service calls with the same proportion. So I shift tasks by 2 weeks, then I will also shift the service call by 2 weeks. And we will check for conflicts, because a conflict can arise because we shift everything by 2 weeks, but maybe I am already planned, or maybe it's a holiday, or it's a weekend, or anything else that can create a capacity conflict that we will see, and then we will add that to this page, the bulk edit page, and in this case I did not have any conflict. um, but in this case there were a lot, so I will choose this one as an example. Here you see all conflicts, and you will see which date was original date, which date it was supposed to be planned but has a conflict, and which date do we suggest, because we will suggest the next possible date for you based on the same resource. And then you can choose apply our suggested date, ignore the conflict, and just keep the conflict date, or keep the original date. So you can then quickly select them and apply changes, and it will be solved. This is where we stop though, because we are going to release an AI module, and that AI module will allow you to quickly plan or replan a project. It is already visible here because I'm in my acceptance server, but I'm going to not show it to you because it's not done yet. It's undergoing some fine-tuning. But yeah, it basically allows you to select which tasks or which projects you want to plan, and then we will create a draft planning for the specific resources, and then you can see that draft, fine-tune it along the way, and then when it's done and you are happy, you can press save, and everything will be planned. So yeah, we will stop with the adding more logic to this particular area, and then we are going to add more logic into Power BI. For the rest, it's useful to keep track of those hours. Um, it's an hours column in this case, but basically everywhere we have these hours, it is important to maybe track capacity of people in the capacity screen to quickly see if somebody's overbooked or not, and if there's anything needs to be changed according to the planning of your project, then please use all those tips and tricks that I gave you. And yes, I maybe have missed something, but this gives you, I hope, a proper overview of how to utilize Proxuma. Right? Thank you for watching.